Hey everybody, it's Chrissy Key Rollins bringing you this week's energy update. And today, what is on my heart to share with you is that radical times call for radical healing. And part of what is happening energetically right now in the universe and the cosmos here for us human experience. Hey, whoever just joined live, welcome and chat in if you can. What is happening right now is that life wants to deliver to us in a big way. Life wants to come through with miracles and manifestations like we have never experienced before. The time is ripe for it. And that is what life is trying to nudge and push in our direction, which is probably why so many of us are feeling called to do something bigger, do something more. And with that calling to do something big and do something more, can also come a lot of self-judgment and a lot of hesitation and reservation and fear and self-judgment that you're not doing it and that it's not happening. But what life is trying to nudge and get you to see right now is that it is happening. It is underway and life has your back. But the only way it can deliver is if you show up for it like you never have before. In order for life to unfold miracles, you have to have circumstances of miracles needed in order to have those miracles come about. Otherwise, it's just everyday life and it's not a miracle. So life has been setting you up for this moment to receive miracles. Here's the caveat. In order to receive these miracles, in order to receive these blessings, in order to unleash these radical manifestations into your world, you have to show up like you never have before. Now, us big feeling sensitive, personal development, spiritual growth people, we are constantly working to make ourselves better, to do the right thing, to be in integrity, to be different than the others, to be compassionate, to be loving, to be more aligned, to be more high vibe, to put out more good energy. This is amazing and this is noble and it takes a commitment and it's remarkable and I see you. Now, with these compassionate ways that we have about us, we are often overlooked, undervalidated, underrecognized, underheard, talked over, ran over, and pushed out of the way with louder, more aggressive, more assertive, more in your face kind of people and energy. Now, in order to unlock the miracles that are needed for us, we have to learn how to fortify ourselves. We have to learn how to heal ourselves. We have to learn how to clear out all the stuff that's holding us back so that we can bring all of ourselves to the table. Now, as this invitation is extended to us, what it's going to look like is an opportunity to live into a higher level of integrity. Now, the interesting caveat with this is that our big feeling, do-gooding, always striving for better, bettering ourselves, bettering others, bettering the planet, bettering the world. As we are striving towards this betterness and we are going through it without a recognition, without being validated, without being even heard, our voice being heard, when someone brings around accountability, to say, hey, you missed a step here, or you're not showing up in this way. It is our tendency to break down and defend ourselves, to say, but look at all the good I'm doing in the world. Look at all the ways I am showing up. Look at all the integrity that I do have. You're not even paying attention to all this greatness that I'm bringing to the world. All you're doing is highlighting these problems. And I want recognition for what I am doing right. Now, obviously, we don't say it in quite this way. It expresses itself in different ways, but that is the tendency. When someone says, hey, you're out of line, it's to say, hey, but I'm in line in all these other ways. And that letting ourselves off the hook because we're a good person is keeping us stuck in ways that do not support where we want to be, but totally support where we're used to being. So as you slip yourself off that hook, and you say, hey, stop bullying me, stop pushing me around, stop trying to get me to force me to see how I'm out of integrity and start looking over here at all the ways that I am in integrity and let that be enough. Can't you see that I am enough? What we're failing to do is to take a radical level of responsibility to say, hey, you know what? You're right. Despite my many goodness that I bring to the world, despite all the things that I did get right, despite all the ways that I am showing up amazingly in my life, although it hurts to point this out and admit it, you are absolutely right. By me not doing this, although I have justifications, by me not doing this, although I have reasons for it, by me not doing this, and by me saying it and admitting it, I'm afraid that I'm going to be less than, not enough, let you down, fail you, just not be enough. But what happens when we can take ownership of it and say, you are absolutely right. I was 100% out of integrity, and that doesn't take away from any of the goodness that I bring to the world. And it does set me up to look like somebody who is out of integrity, who doesn't consider others, that isn't thoughtful, that doesn't honor commitments, that doesn't follow through. I can see how, although that's not the full story of who I am and what I'm all about, I don't need to fight for the story of who I am and what I'm about to give recognition to the fact that I do have an oversight here. I could be more in integrity. I could be more committed and in integrity whenever I make commitments. I could follow through more consistently. I could be more considerate. I could be more thoughtful. All of these things are true as well. And none of them take away from the fact that you are already considerate, already thoughtful, already showing up, already a person of integrity. So when someone says, hey, look, you're out of integrity, they may not be forcing their way on you. They may not be trying to pull you out of all these good things that you are. They may just be saying, hey, I see something more in you. And if you show up more, I guarantee you everything will work out fine. But to have the more, you have to express the more, not become the more, because you're already enough. You just have to challenge yourself to let it be out there by saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to take total ownership. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm going to allow the truth to speak for itself. Now, I made a misstep here, and I'm going to take ownership because I am committed to my integrity. I am committed to how I express myself, and I am committed to expressing myself as authentically and as integrity filled as possible, which does not mean I make all the right moves all the time, but it does mean I can look beyond what things look like on the outside, and I can start to get to a deeper truth. And if the only time we've had somebody hold us into accountability or point out our shortcomings has happened in a way that we experience as abusive or narcissistic or taking advantage of, or neglectful or hurtful in some way, then when anybody brings you accountability, when anybody brings you integrity, it can feel that same way. It can feel like guilt. It can feel like shame. It can feel like forcing. But what that guilt is, what that shame is, what that forcing is letting you know, hey, this is the non-truth that you're bumping up against. And the way that you get to this discernment is look to the source from which it came. Did it come from someone who has multiply tried to hurt you, cause you harm, do detriment? Or is it coming from somebody who has been consistent? Consistent and integrity filled from all of your interactions. Look and see who the source is. And then start to build a narrative based on what you know to be absolutely true. You don't know why people say or do what they're doing. You don't know their intentions. That's what makes this world a scary place. Nowhere is safe, because you cannot know for certain somebody else's intentions. You have to take their word for it. You have to learn how to trust yourself and trust others. So as you're building this self-trust, start with what you know to be true. Who is the person that is evoking this emotion and this feeling from within me? Is that person consistently in my past had my best heart and interest in mind? Or are they someone who consistently and blatantly and repeatedly has stepped on me, neglected me, overlooked me, and not seen me and forced their way over me? Or did they take the time to recognize? Have they spoken truth and belief into me? Have they been an advocate for me? If they've been these things, have I made a commitment to this person? This happens a lot in spousal relationships. If you made a commitment to that person and that person has stayed committed to you, then start to build a narrative of truth from a place that this person must care if they're committed. And if there is something more going on, if they're being manipulative, if they're being in integrity, the way to find it is more effective communication, is to go back to that person and say, hey, all of my past interactions with you has been somebody who is advocating for me and somebody that's on my side. When you brought me this piece of information, it felt as if you're trying to force something on me or evoke some kind of guilt from me or try to do something manipulative. What's going on with that? That level of integrity, that level of communication is something that does not happen typically in our society. And that level of communication is keeping us hurting, stuck in our suffering cycles, and creating people to point blame and to misinterpret other people that are on their side that aren't out to get them. And that's what happens when you've been through trauma, when you've been through emotional abuse, when those things are unresolved, unreconciled, and unhealed within you, then anything that is not blatant, supportive, obvious, I love you, I'm here to champion you forward and make your life easier, anything that is unlike that can feel like forced abuse. It happens. So understand that this reaction can come from another person, or this reaction can come from you. Perhaps you're the big feeler. And perhaps somebody who really cares about you is just saying, hey, all that I'm doing is saying you're missing a step here. And I can see how when you put this step into place, your life is going to flow better. You are going to have more of your awesomeness highlighted, brought to the center of, or brought to the forefront of your world, and it will be recognized. Because I see your awesomeness, and I can see how when people observe steps like this one that I'm pointing out to you, when they see that from the outside, they're not going to take the time necessarily to see beyond and know the person that's there. They're only going to judge you from the outside. And I care too much to let you be misjudged, misrepresented on the outside and not know it. And not know it. And if that's the energy that somebody is coming from whenever they point out a misstep, it is not to tear you down. You are safe. You are okay. And loved ones, it is okay to let them in. It is okay to listen to them. And when you say, instead of, don't do that to me, don't put that guilt and shame on me, and you instead say, what's interesting is that I'm feeling guilt and shame come up. Are you trying to guilt me? And let that person share more of their story. Because when you put those defenses up, when you cut out the toxic negative people, and that toxic negativity is inside of you, you're going to end up with all these people pushed away and still have that same thing residing inside of you, just waiting for the next character to come along and trigger it and start the cycle all over again. So perhaps there are cycles of abuse that can be stopped by changing your physical proximity to certain people in your life. But some of the abuses and cycles of suffering and abuse that you go on, you perpetuate on your own. I perpetuate on my own whenever I don't take time to heal and reconcile what trauma has been done to me in the past, so that I can deal with the present day situation from the here and now, from the person that I am now, who I know myself to be and how I know others to be. When we hold on to our past pain and suffering, we bring it in and experience the here and now from that same point of trauma. And we will blame the other person. We will say that they are narcissistic, but I'm here to say, is that narcissistic, or is it narcissistic to think that everybody's attacking you and that everybody is spending their time conspiring towards you? We have to stop and reflect and hold a mirror up and stop these illusions that there is anything other than one thing happening, which is the experiences happening inside of you, and the other circumstances around you are just showing you what is happening inside of you. So be brave, be bold, dare to start further communication. I am a big believer that there is not a problem that can be solved without more efficient communication. And every time I go in and I have more communication, we always get to resolution. And anytime those walls of communication are shut down, things cannot change and evolve. But I can change and evolve them in me and move forward. So I hope that that was helpful. If you've been feeling this, like, why is everybody on my case, or why are everybody's little things agitating you? This is what's happening. It's time for all of us to be more truthful, to speak up. It's not easy to say, hey, beloved, beautiful, amazing person, I see you're out of a line. That's scary. That puts me at risk of you rejecting me, or you thinking that I'm a bad person, or that it's wrong to be honest and truthful. And it is time to start being able to voice truth in all the places that it is not coming through. And that includes misinterpretations and thinking that people are toxic or negative or out to get you, whenever that's not the case, when you are just setting up that same cycle of abuse inside of you over and over and over again. If you're ready to heal this, if you want to dive more into this, I want to invite you to, in your local, I want to invite you to Zen Giving, which is our Zen Thanksgiving Holiday Festival, our social event that we're having over at Victory Power Yoga. Holistic Restoration and Victory Power Yoga are teaming up for Zen Giving, which is a beautiful holiday social that will help you to connect to empowerment as an empath and help you to learn how to create heaven on earth no matter what your circumstances, so that you can go through the holidays being in touch with your calm and being in touch with your Zen, no matter what characters are sitting at the dining room table or passing through when you're out and about. Hey, Nikki and Michelle, so great to have y'all here. So come join us at Zen Giving. Right now we're doing 25% off whenever you sign up with a friend. Both you and your friend both get 25% off. So hit a comment below and I'll get that discount code over to you when you sign up through November 9th. And then the social is happening on Friday, November the 22nd. Help us spread the word. We'd love to have this be this amazing, big filling, cozy, warm night in, out. so that you can get your socializing in a safe, comfortable, friendly, like-minded environment, connect with more community around you that is like you, and also learn some tools to add to your tool belt so that you can stay empowered as an empathic, big feeling soul, and not be so susceptible to what other people are bringing to the table. So check that out for sure, and join me over in the Conscious Success community for a more in-depth reveal of what the mermaids have to say. And this is what they have to say right now for this conversation. Ooh, was not expecting that. I like this. Card number 41 came through, and it is the Sisterhood card. Sisterhood. This is all about friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, joy, delight. I'm dare saying that's coming forward because I was just talking about Zen giving. But really, this is coming forward because now is the time for sisterhood, to realize that all these souls around you, they're not out to get you. They're out to free you of the things that are holding you back. And when you find one of those soul sisters in the world or soul brothers in the world, where you can have that friendship, that ally, that compatibility, that loyalty, understanding that that also it starts with you. You have to be that for yourself. And as you become that for yourself, as I have become that for myself, as I have become a friend, an ally, a trustworthy, loyal, joyful, delightful soul to interact with myself, this is where I bump into these places where that doesn't come up. And then I realize that's not me. And I can let it go. And having this sisterhood, having this connected tribe of people that you can be yourself unfiltered, where you can dare to say, hey, the way you said that, I felt this way, and I want to have a conversation about that. That is powerful. That is what is needed. That is the voice that needs to come forward, because there's a lot of love and compassion that's getting overlooked and denied, just like you feel like you're getting overlooked and denied. And as long as you continue to overlook and deny it in others, you're going to continue to have that experience. Or what if, right? Thanks for being here. Join me over in the Conscious Success community for a 3-card spread. If you're watching this on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe so that you can get these every week. And whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, consider sharing this with other people. I would love to share it with others that you feel like could use this message for today. All right. Love you. Bye.